You want to know the secret to becoming mentally strong? Well, it's not exactly a secret. It's really about three component things that add up into one. In today's video, we're going to talk about principles of mental strength, also the benefits of it, and how you can add these simple tips and strategies. That way you can build your own mental resilience. Okay, so before I get into the principles, you got to understand that there's four pillars. Okay, there's like four pillars that really contribute to this. Okay, the first one is you got to understand what you can control. A lot of times, man, life can get frustrating, and sometimes we get triggered and we get ticked off about things that are simply out of our control. Every time somebody cuts you off while you're driving, you have a choice to make. You can either get mad and get irate, let that disrupt your energy, your mood, your aura, or you can change the way you're looking at it. You know what? They cut me off, but nobody didn't get hurt. Maybe they're in a rush. Maybe someone's about to have a baby. I don't know, but whatever reason they felt to cut me off, I'm okay. My car didn't get wrecked. I'm alive. All this is simply understanding what you can control. All right. You can't control people from cutting you off. You got to understand that when I'm talking about focus on what you can control, you need to focus on what's in your reach. Okay. All the things that are within your reach is your emotions, your reactions, how you respond to things, stuff you could do immediately. You know, like I could take this phone right now. If this phone is ringing like crazy, I can take it and turn it on to silent. Like that's what I mean by understand what you can control. When you get clarity on what you can control, this is going to help dictate and control your emotions and what you're going to allow to disrupt them. At that point, you might as well just give your emotions away. Like you're letting somebody control your mind at that point. And obviously, that's not what we're trying to do. Also, gaining clarity on what we can control can help us minimize the stress in our lives. This leads me to my second point, which is focusing on what you can improve. There's always room for improvement. As cliche as it sounds, you could always do better with something. Fixating on your problems isn't going to make your life any better, okay? If it's a problem, you need to work towards becoming a goal-oriented person. You need to focus on becoming more solution-oriented. Let's say, for example, the last couple of days you've been showing up to work about 15, 20 minutes late, right? Every time you take this same route to work, you're always hitting traffic. You know, there's always people that don't know how to drive. They're always doing construction on the road. These are a bunch of big problems that you're running into because you're taking this same way to work. There's a couple ways you can do this. You can either find another route. You could leave a couple minutes earlier. And if you leaving a couple minutes earlier means you need to go to bed 10 to 15 minutes earlier, then do it. You got to understand, man, that like all your decisions that you make on a day-to-day basis, good and bad, all affect your mental health in any way, shape, or form. Okay. They all contribute into impacting your mental health on a day-to-day basis. You got to be mindful of the quality in your decisions. All right. And sometimes you got to make uncomfortable sacrifices. You know, you might not need to watch your little TV show, before you go to bed. You might need to go to bed a little bit earlier and watch it on another day. You might need to say no to pickleball tonight. You might have to tell your homies, hey man, look, as much as I want to, I can't get on the game tonight. I got a busy day tomorrow. I'll catch y'all next time. You got to be willing to say no. You got to be willing to set boundaries. If you can't set boundaries for your life is always going to be out of control. Okay. You're going to be running like a chicken with your head cut off. Your stress is always going to be high. I said this in a previous video. It's not good to always have high cortisol levels. All right. Your body's constantly walking in a state of stress. That's not healthy. And like I was saying, you always want to focus on improving. You know what I mean? You don't want to be fixated on problems. The more you focus on the negative things, you got to think the more energy you put into something, it grows. You're just manifesting more negative energy into your life when you're always being fixated on problems. Okay. You need to become a solution oriented person. The easiest way to become a solution oriented person is simply by thinking, if I could have something my way, what would it be? If I can make this work in my favor, how would I make this work? When you're trying to become mentally strong, it's a constant but daily habit of looking for improvement and always focusing on solutions. The moment a problem pops up, you're already looking on the next step on how to resolve it. With this approach to things, you're always going to keep growing in the right direction, and your mental health and your mental toughness is going to constantly improve. All right. There's no slowdowns with this. All right. So this is going to lead me to number three, which is a tough pill for most people to swallow, but it is what it is. You got to be accountable for your actions. Okay. You got to be accountable for the outcomes of your decisions. Sometimes, man, we make a jacked up decision and it backfires. But the key thing here is that when you make that bad decision, you got to understand that you still made the decision. You still made that choice. You chose to smash that whole pint of ice cream before you went to bed. You chose to skip the gym today. You chose to leave 5, 10 minutes before your shift started. Now you're at work late. And on top of that, you got a speeding ticket. You got to understand that you made that decision. This is always a tough one, man, because when we don't learn how to take accountability for our actions and the decisions that we make, we don't realize how much, from an indirect standpoint, we're damaging our mental health. Literally, like I just said a few moments ago, all the decisions that you make on a day to day basis, in one shape or another, they contribute to your mental health, whether it's good or bad. They can also improve the quality of your life or disrupt the quality of your life. But in order for you to recognize what's disrupting the quality of your life, you got to be able to take accountability for the decisions that you're making. You know what? I probably should never went to the bar last night. Now I'm hungover and I got work for an 8 hour shift. You know what? I should have kept my distance from this person. Now I'm gonna open up the window for them to talk to me. Now all this drama is coming my way. Like, you got to be able to take accountability for your actions and your decisions. This contributes to you being a solution oriented person. That way, when problems and stuff pop up, you have so much experience that it lessens you making more bad decisions down the road. You got to understand that mentally strong people take accountability for the outcome of their decisions. All right. And whenever it's a bad decision or a good decision, they're willing to look at it from a standpoint of, okay, this is a bad decision. So, what is it that I can take from this poor decision? That way I can make sure I don't do it again. It takes time to build this. All right. Because you got to think, with all these decisions that you're making, all these growth, these self improvement, you're building a relationship with yourself. Your life is based on the quality of the habits and the decisions you make on a day to day basis. And when you're a solution oriented person and you're disciplined and you're being accountable of yourself. And the fourth thing, which this can be applied in a lot of areas, man. I know y'all heard me say this in a previous video before. I need to stay consistent with it. I could take accountability, but you have to express gratitude. Okay. Somebody that has good mental toughness, mental strength, is that they have an understanding of appreciating things while they have it. Okay. They don't think from a place of lack. My job might not be paying me enough right now, but I'm glad I got a source of income to pay the bills that I have. You know, my car may drive me crazy, but at least I got a car that works. Gratitude helps you stay grounded and it allows you to focus on the positives. You know what I mean? It makes it easier for you to get back on track regardless how rough things get. Gratitude helps you accomplish a state of balance, helps you accomplish a state of neutrality. Y'all know I'm a big fan of that, you know? It's not so much about always thinking and being positive. It's about having a balance, okay? It's about honoring the negative feelings for the moment, but you have enough mental resilience, you have enough mental discipline that, okay, I'm in negative for too long. Let's get out of this rut. And to get to that point, it just takes constant repetition, it takes consistency. And of course, watching some of my videos because I'm giving some tips here. And gratitude is such a game changer, man. This is something I need to do more often. I usually vocalize my gratitude, but it's more impactful when you write it down. Get a pen and paper, write down three things you're grateful for. You know, you don't need to make the list big or long. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the simpler the better. Now that we understand the first pillar, now we need to understand the benefits of being mentally strong. Building mental strength has a plethora of insane benefits. Okay. First one I want to start off with, as I mentioned earlier, is an increased resilience. All right. When you do something enough times, or when you have a rough patch or something, it makes it easier for you to bounce back. Okay. Whenever you're having a rough day, you know what I'm saying? Things ain't going right. Whenever you're having a rough week, you always had the mental resilience to be like, you know what? Today's going to be a good day. The last few days kicked my ass, but today's going to be a good day. Because you got to understand that at some point, things are going to turn around for you. In life, you got to have the balance. You got your yin and the yang. There has to be a balance there. There's no such thing as things just constantly being negative. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand where you're focusing your energy at, that grows. Whenever you're going through a rough patch and something negative pops up, honor that's what it is. Honor that it makes you uncomfortable. Once you do that, start taking the steps, start getting into the habits and the routines that you built that's gonna allow you to get back on track. That's gonna allow you to regain your center. You know what I mean? Get back in alignment. Notice how I didn't say be positive and act like nothing ain't that's not what I'm saying. I feel like there's a bad connotation with that. When it comes to improving your life, making things easier for you, as I mentioned, it's not always about being positive 24/7, okay? It's about having that balance, okay? You have to be able to take the negative experience, take the negative feelings, honor it, process it, learn from it, see what lessons you're learning from it, and then reframe it into a benefit. You got to be able to go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Somebody that has a growth mindset is able to take a negative experience and still find a way to extract a lesson out of it, still find a way to extract a gain out of it. It's not easy, but if it was easy, if everything in this world was easy, everybody will have everything that they want by now. And what's the point of living life then if everything's just handed to you? Like, it'd be boring. Who doesn't want that excitement? You know what I mean? You work so hard for something, and you finally accomplish it. And think about that feeling. Like, think about the last time you worked so hard for something and you finally got it. And think about how that made you feel. You spent all this time, all these years, these hours to finally get to a point in your life or accomplish this goal, and it feels so good, you know? Now just imagine if it just got handed to you to snap of your fingers. That sensation is only gonna last for a couple minutes because you didn't have to work for it. It just got handed to you. Another thing is that it can improve your health. Okay, you got to understand what I said earlier, that when you're living in a constant state of stress, your body is always in a stress state. You know the fight or flight, you're constantly in a fight state. You got to think about when you're in a fighting state, your muscles are tense, your heart rate's rushing, your body is ready to react at any given moment at the slightest threat that pops up. Sometimes this could be too much. When you have a stronger mind, you got to think mind over body. Your body is always going to react based on what your mind tells it. Okay. So if you're constantly in a state of stress, your body's going to constantly feel like it needs to stay tense. Next, you're going to start having muscle cramps. What I'm saying? You're going to have random pains coming out of nowhere because your body never got a chance to relax. What I'm saying? Your body is in constant overdrive. Your heart's constantly pumping, because you're in a constant state of stress. Another good benefit with this is that it improves your relationships with people, okay? It makes people feel more comfortable in your presence, I don't know one person that likes to be around somebody that's constantly negative, that's constantly stressed, that's constantly bad mouthing themselves. We all know a couple people that kind of have a really weird vibe about them, and then every time you get around them, it just doesn't seem like it's uplifting. It's more like draining, Think of like an energy vampire. They're just zapping your energy. When it comes to you having that mental toughness, it's going to help you build stronger relationships. It's going to help you maintain those stronger relationships because you're going to give off this type of aura. You're going to give off this aura that people can trust you. People feel comfortable around you. You're going to give off this aura of confidence. You know what I'm saying? And when people sense confidence about you, they get drawn into you. Now, sometimes you could draw on both sides of the spectrum, but for the most part, you're going to draw more like-minded people because who wouldn't want to be around somebody that's confident? Sometimes you might not even realize it. You might lift somebody up with just your presence. You don't even have to talk to them directly, but just them being around you because you built the mental toughness, you built the confidence, you built this aura. People naturally gravitate to that. Some people also admire that. You got your haters and everything, but we ain't talking about none of that. And the last thing is your happiness in your life is just going to improve. Okay, because when you're mentally strong, it's going to make it easier for you to focus on the positive. It's going to make it easier for you to focus on what's adding value to your life and not so much what's taken from it. Make it easier for you to remove the things that are taken from your life. It's going to make it easier for you to remove the things that aren't adding any value to you. It's going to help you create that gap of space from the negative stuff. It's going to help you create that gap of space when something crazy pops up. You're not going to be triggered. You know what I'm saying? You're going to respond to it, not react. You're going to respond. When you become a person that just knows how to respond to things and not react, you're talking about the quality of your life just improves. We need to go in and talk about the tips and the things you can do on a day-to-day basis so you can implement this, so you can become mentally stronger yourself. I'm going to keep it simple. I got 4 simple tips for you, okay? Number 1, you need to find a way to practice mindfulness, okay? Whether that be meditating, journaling, you need to find some good habits that can teach you how to handle and manage your stress a lot better. As I mentioned, meditating is one of them. What I like to do is I like to go on YouTube. I'll post some of the YouTubers that I follow that make videos on how to meditate, because the key thing about meditating, man, is that when it focuses you to be still, it allows you to get grounded and it allows you to get centered. And when your mind's still and centered, you're able to process the thoughts in your head. You're able to process your decisions because your brain isn't racing. You got to understand that a lot of people live their life on autopilot. We do a lot of things and we don't understand the why behind why we're doing it. And then when you get home, you wonder why you're mentally tired, why you're exhausted. When you bring meditation and consciousness together, it allows you to be so present and dialed in on your emotions. Okay. You can't process and filter out anything in your life if your brain is always all over the place. Stop telling yourself you can't chill out. Stop telling yourself you can't calm your mind. You can. You just need to find a way that works for you. Some people like to meditate. Some people like to work out. Some people like to read books. Everybody has that one positive thing that they can do on a day to day basis that helps them achieve this place of mindfulness. You want to try to enter a state of flow. You ever been so focused on something to where you just zone out and you're just going at it. You're so focused, you're so dialed in. You don't hear anything from your environment. It's just tunnel vision. I like how I did tunnel vision. I went straight to my ears. But you got to find a good mindfulness habit. Maybe it's playing with your pets. Maybe it's watching your favorite movie. You know what I'm saying? There's something for everybody. There's something for you. So stop telling yourself that you can't stay still. Stop telling yourself you can't get your mind calm. There's something for you that's positive and that's going to add value for you to get your mind at ease. Okay. Everybody has something, but it's up to you to take the appropriate steps to find it. I'll do the best I can. Like I said, I'll post some of the links down below in the comment box. Just let you know some of the videos I watched, or you can even do breath work. Ooh, breath work is a good one. After this video, Google breath work because that is a real good one. That's not even a meditation. Breath work's different, but trust me, try it. Second thing is, which I'm a big fan of, is exercise. Okay. Exercise regularly. Do 3 to 5 days out of the week, bare minimum two, really three. I like to go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I like to go for a run if the weather is right. You can even walk for 10, 15 minutes a day. Whatever it is, just make sure you're doing something active for at least 30 minutes at most. I'm not no therapist or anything like that, but these are the little things that you could do on a day-to-day basis, because when you activate them feel good chemicals, when you get your blood rushing, you know what I'm saying, that rush of good energy, it feels good and it lessens the cortisol levels in your body. Okay, remember, cortisol is a stress hormone. Not all stress is bad. I could go into the whole use stress, but that's kind of deviating from the point in a way. Just find something fun to do for 25, 30 minutes. You know what I mean? You can Google Zumba videos, so you can learn how to dance. You could do shadow boxing. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of things that you could do for 25, 30 minutes that involves a physical activity, get your blood rate rushing. Because, like I said, your body likes to respond to these feel good chemicals. And when you have the good endorphins rushing, it lessens your cortisol levels, thus improving your mental health. Okay, the third thing is, I'm gonna keep this one simple because I'm not a nutritionist, but start eating healthier. You know what I mean? Take some time out your day and Google up different ways to start eating healthy. You know what I mean? Cut out the processed foods. You know what I'm saying? Instead of going for the Snickers bar, go get the candy bar out of Sprouts and Whole Foods. Yeah, it's a little bit more, but you gotta understand this is an investment for your health. When you eat bad stuff long enough, all this is doing is causing long-term damage. All right. And long-term damage that contributes to your overall mental health. You're not going to become mentally strong because you're feeding your body all this junk food and all this junk stuff, the processed food, the the food colorings, the dyes, it's running through your bloodstream and it's disrupting your heart. Like, it's, yeah, eat healthier. Okay. If somebody asked me where to start in terms of how to eat and be healthier, I would start off with cutting out processed foods and the late night snack cravings. You know what I'm saying? Don't get that Snicker bars late at night unless you've been going to the gym being consistent. But even if then, don't eat that Snicker bars late. Go ahead and get that apple with some peanut butter. It's a healthy alternative. And not only that, peanut butter is also good with fiber and it kind of helps you sleep. And yeah, which leads me to my next point. You want to try your best to get high quality sleep. Okay. Sleep is a little bit different for everybody. All right. I know the average consensus is around like 7 to 8 hours of sleep. You got some people that can function on 5 and 6, even though I don't encourage that, but I've seen it. But for the rule of thumb, at least those starting out, try to aim for at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Okay. Now, the key thing about sleeping is you want to improve the quality of your sleep. You want to make sure you cut out all the lights. You know what I'm saying? Use blackout curtains. You know what I mean? Put your phone down about a good hour or two before you even go to bed. Now, I know for sure some people struggle with this. Like me personally, I always grew up with my TV on before I fell asleep. As I got older, what I started doing is I started utilizing the sleep timers. Some of y'all don't realize that your TV's got sleep timers, okay? I'm one person that, depending on the day, if I'm really, really tired, I can just go straight to sleep. But sometimes I like I kind of like noise going on. You know what I mean? For me, that noise sometimes is the TV, or maybe I'm playing some binaural beats through my home pod, throughout my space. So I'll set a sleep timer for like 2 hours, or even on the TV, I'm watching a funny video. That way, when I knock out, the TV cuts off. Ain't nobody trying to run up the utility bill. Stuff is already expensive as it is. Okay. Last part, now that we understand the importance of sleep and how I can keep you mentally sharp, man. Um, I'm just gonna share a few more things that I like to do. Like I said earlier, I like to use binaural beats. Sometimes I like to listen to sleep sounds that help me get into a relaxed state. Same thing when I meditate. Another thing I like to do, I also like to read. I also started reading this book here. Shout out to the homie Jeff Logs. Um, Becoming the Beast Handbook by Jeff Logan. This guy, he's been impactful for me in a lot of ways. I'm glad I finally got his book. But it's a self-development. Saying you gotta understand that, like, when you're trying to improve your mental, it's good to be knowledgeable. Don't just limit yourself to one resource. The more knowledge you gain about something, the easier it is for you to add stuff to your life and improve your overall mental health. It's going to improve your mental toughness. It's going to improve your mental stability. The easier it is for you to implement it to your life, the easier it is for you to make improvements in your life because you took the time out of your day to invest. You watching this video right now, you're making that investment for your life and your mental health. Okay. My goal is to help generate and create value for people so they can improve and live the best life as possible and see life from a different perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because there's room for everybody. You know what I'm saying? When we all winning, when we all eating, things are just good. Another thing I like to do is I like to listen to podcasts. He also has a podcast. I also been listening to a lot of Andrew Huberman's podcast. I got a couple podcasts about money and finances. I listen to a lot of podcasts. Something is better than nothing. A little bit here and there, that don't hurt nobody. If anything, it's going to add value for you. So if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. These are some tips, principles, and concepts on how to be mentally strong. Okay. Um, just repetition is key, man. To understand that, building mental toughness, it's a big journey. What I'm saying, self-improvement is a journey. You gotta learn how to take little progress is better than no progress at all. And when you make mistakes and you fall off, you gotta understand that you're human. You're not put on this place to be perfect. What I'm saying? You're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna fail. But the key thing is when you have that mental resilience, that mental toughness, the sky's the limit and you can accomplish anything you put your mind to. If anything in this video resonated with you, please drop a comment below. And if there's something that y'all want me to talk about, man, let me know, man. It's your boy Speaks, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.